Heyo, welcome to the audio commentary for Before the Ghosts See, Book 3 in the Tides That Rain saga. I'm author Artie Pyers, here to highlight some of my favorite aspects of writing this novel, as well as share some behind-the-scenes knowledge. There are spoilers ahead, so please do not listen to this until after you have read the book. With that in mind, let's get sailing. To begin with some general background information, this was the last Tides That Rain novel to be written before the series' acquisition by the original publisher in June 2023. I was nearly done with the first draft, the longest I'd ever taken to write a first draft, after beginning in October of 2022. But this was, at the time, the most ambitious manuscript I'd taken on, so that's understandable. The final cut is just over 216,000 words. But the hope was that if my series got picked up by book 3, word count wouldn't be as much of a concern. I didn't want to split this into a 5-book series, and indeed I don't think there is a good place to split off another one. So book 3, just by the way of the series getting more complex, had to grow in size compared to its predecessors. Chapter 1, Snow and Suffering. Book 1 began in fire, Book 2 began in water, and Book 3 begins with snow! Okay, so this isn't a pattern that you should necessarily put too much weight in, but I did try to engineer these opening sequences so that they reflect the vibes of the book. Before the Ghosts See features the first snowy landscapes we've had in the series, and there are quite a few of them between Midori climbing Mount Masaka, the Flaming Girls plus Abiyan climbing Monte Casta, and anticipation for the first fall of snow in the Quartz Basilica Basin, which is supposed to mark the return of Fogo Sombre. The scene with Helena and her companions in the Halls of Histories changed quite a bit, becoming shorter to minimize the time the reader watches them search, but also in how she finds the creation myth. In the first draft, she passes the locked room and the text sort of calls to her. In response, she summons her friends to search the room and finds what she's looking for, but it was coming off as a weird coincidence/convenience rather than magical. So I changed the opening scene such that she intuits what she's looking for might be in the room, searches by herself and finds it, and then summons the rest of her companions. I loved delving into Lenora's backstory in this opening chapter as it made use of a geological feature I'd long been trying to incorporate into the series, the Spiral Valley. This is a concept I'd moved around the map several times throughout world building, originally placing it on the Iron Peninsula far to the south. It never coalesced into a prominent feature, but I was happy to make it a part of Lenora's homeland of Viatran, to give it a distinct, memorable landmark. Finally, we have Otahiko and Arsenio in the cell below the north wing of the Quartz Basilica. Character mashups are always interesting, especially when the characters discover the ways in which their worlds overlap. In this case, Arsenio knowing Taigen and Takahiro. I would generally summarize their discussion, but coming in at the beginning of a book like this, it was a good way to do some recap of the storylines, since there is so much going on in the series at this point. Chapter 2, The Coward's Conscience. One benefit to having a freer mindset concerning the word count when drafting this novel was that I allowed myself to explore the world a bit more in the text. I figured if you were coming back for round 3, you were probably interested to some degree. So I found places to relax the pace and let conversations breathe, especially the one here between Kaori, Galina, and the Masante Ramos. He's a historian, so why not let him wax poetic about the topic? That's not to say that conversations in books 1 and 2 were strictly utilitarian, but I was always conscious about getting to the point as quickly as possible, whereas here the conversation can flow a bit more naturally.